Love it. And we're staying with that topic, George. We're behind the bricks.
Absolutely. In fact, Randall, our two segments really tie in very nicely together. We'll get to that in a moment. Zach Orrell is with me now. We're talking about this week's Behind the Bricks podcast, and the dirt track is the focus of that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize we have a racetrack within the racetrack, but it's also not a, the dirt is sort of a permanent fixture in the wall, but, in the weeks leading up to the Driven to Save BC 39, we have weeks of work that we have to do to make this an actual facility, and it's a really cool story, and Doug talks about in the podcast how you can't just find dirt for a dirt track. It has to be very specific, very special dirt. And we actually found dirt at the airport. They were doing some construction for their new FedEx hub, and we actually pulled that dirt. And that is sort of how we kind of built the dirt track, was around the FedEx dirt.
Let's listen to a real quick clip from the podcast.
In addition to that clay-like dirt that you want to have for a surface, you also want to make the track a little bit interesting for the cars and the drivers in a way that they can compete with each other and follow the track. So we have a little banking in here, and actually the way this worked out, you can run a high groove, which is a little more banked, a low groove, which is shorter around but flat, or a middle groove, which creates some unbelievable racing here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
2018. And we were just talking about the fact that the race in Brian Clausen's name, who was the topic of the previous segment, started at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 2018.
Yeah.
Can we get Taylor McLean to come on over here and join us? Because I want to make sure that we do justice to your brother. He was an organ donor after he passed.
Yeah.
And everything, the dirt track, the race, this event, they're all part of his legacy, right?
Yeah, they are. I think my biggest fear after we lost Brian was people forgetting who he was. And this is just a way for us to remember him, not only as the race car driver Brian, but also as the human being, the giving person that he was. And to be able to have the Driven to Save Lives program, a part of that is so special to our family, and it's much more than just a race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is truly a way to bring fans together to be able to honor Brian, and it's really special. Brian's biggest thing when he went to the Indy 500 and raced there 3 times was being able to bring dirt track fans with him. And so to be able to have a dirt track race now at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is so special, and I think just short of him actually racing in that race, he would be pretty proud.
And what I think is so cool is, everyone that's at the track, they know this is for Brian. I mean, every single person, from the fans to people working to the drivers, there's not a person there that doesn't realize and understand the bigger picture of what this dirt race is for. I mean, it's more than just a race.
And you think about all of the great race car drivers. I mean, our roots are in dirt track racing. Little quarter-mile ovals, banging some paint. That's rubbing is racing, folks.